How Successful People Think by John C. Maxwell. Imagine walking into a room where people are building dreams, solving complex problems, and changing the world not with their hands, but with their thoughts. John C. Maxwell's How Successful People Think takes us on a journey into that room. He invites us to sit with leaders, visionaries, and achievers, and observe not just what they do but how they think. Because, as Maxwell reminds us, success begins in the mind. The book does not talk about quick wins or shortcuts. It is a deep dive into the habits of thought that distinguish ordinary people from extraordinary ones. Maxwell opens with a powerful idea. Successful people think differently from unsuccessful people. This is not just about IQ, education, or even talent. It's about intentionally developing ways of thinking that guide better decisions, build influence, and create consistent progress. At the core is the concept of intentional thinking. Most people drift through life, reacting to whatever comes their way. But successful people are different. They choose their thoughts. They discipline their mind the way an athlete trains their body. They understand that everything goals, strategies, success starts as a thought. And if they can master their thinking, they can shape their future. Big picture thinking. Successful people are big picture thinkers. They don't get stuck in the weeds. They step back and ask, what's the purpose? What's the end game? When challenges come, they see beyond the problem. They see the opportunity behind the obstacle. A big picture thinker doesn't obsess over minor flaws in the plan but focuses on long-term results. They connect ideas across different fields. They're visionary not because they can see the future, but because they think on a broader scale than most. This kind of thinking fosters empathy, creativity, and innovation. It enables leaders to inspire others because they can articulate a vision that includes everyone. Focused thinking, on the other hand, great thinkers also know when to zoom in. Maxwell emphasizes the power of focused thinking. In a world flooded with distractions, the ability to concentrate deeply is a superpower. Successful people carve out time to think without interruption. They don't multitask. They single task. They don't just have to-do lists, they have thinking lists. They take complex issues and break them down into manageable pieces. Focus brings clarity, and clarity drives action. Creative thinking success, Maxwell says, also demands creative thinking. But this doesn't mean painting or writing poetry. It means breaking free of rigid assumptions and seeing old problems with new eyes. Creative thinkers challenge the norm. They ask why not, instead of just why. They allow themselves to be wrong. They value brainstorming over fast answers. What sets successful creatives apart is their courage to look foolish. They understand that most great ideas begin as fragile, awkward thoughts that require patience and nurturing. Realistic thinking. Yet Maxwell warns us, creative thinking must be balanced by realistic thinking. It's the kind of thinking that grounds a dream in facts. Realistic thinkers don't pop bubbles. They make sure those bubbles don't burst later due to unpreparedness. They ask, what's the risk? What are the limitations? They do their homework. They verify. Being realistic doesn't mean being pessimistic. It means being prepared. The most effective leaders dream big but plan cautiously. They match vision with responsibility. Strategic thinking. Once the vision is clear and grounded in reality, strategic thinking takes over. Maxwell shows us that successful people always think in terms of how. They ask, what's the next step? They don't wait for things to happen, they orchestrate success. Strategic thinkers weigh the outcomes, identify resources, and set priorities. They map the journey before they begin the hike. A strategic mind doesn't waste energy on tasks that don't align with the goal. It keeps things efficient, timely, and intentional. Possibility thinking. Another key trait of high achievers is possibility thinking. These are the what-if thinkers. They believe in potential, even when others give up. When faced with setbacks, they look for doors instead of walls. Possibility thinkers fuel innovation. They are the ones who keep hope alive in tough times and push teams beyond perceived limits. Maxwell reminds us that belief precedes achievement. If you don't think something is possible, you'll never pursue it. Possibility thinkers are dreamers who act. Reflective thinking. But dreaming without learning leads to stagnation. That's why reflective thinking is crucial. Successful people take time to pause and evaluate. They ask, what went right? What could be improved? They study their own past like a coach watching game footage. This kind of thinking breeds wisdom. It turns experience into insight. Reflection isn't just about looking back, it's about applying what was learned to the future. It's the bridge between failure and growth. Shared thinking. Maxwell teaches that successful people are not lone geniuses. They thrive through shared thinking. They seek advice, invite collaboration, and value input from others. They believe that no mind is complete on its own. Shared thinking multiplies ideas, reduces blind spots, and fosters innovation. This also builds humility. Great thinkers don't need to have all the answers. They need to ask better questions and surround themselves with people who think differently. Unselfish thinking. One of the most admirable traits of successful thinkers is their tendency toward unselfish thinking. They aren't just out to win, they want others to win too. They ask, how can this help my team, my community, the next generation? Their ideas serve others. Their goals uplift rather than exploit. Unselfish thinkers build legacies, not just resumes. They leave behind more than success, they leave significance. Bottom line and growth thinking. Finally, Maxwell highlights the importance of bottom-line thinking, cutting through fluff and staying focused on results, and growth thinking, which keeps a person moving forward regardless of how much they've already achieved. Bottom-line thinkers stay aligned with what really matters. They measure progress and adjust quickly. Growth thinkers, meanwhile, are never done. They are always learning, stretching, and evolving. They think like students, even when they're leaders. Conclusion: in How Successful People Think, John C. Maxwell hands us a mental blueprint, a way of thinking that can be adopted, refined, and practiced daily. He dismantles the myth that success is an accident. Instead, he shows that it is built thought by thought. To think like a successful person is to think intentionally, creatively, realistically, and generously. It means stretching your imagination, grounding your ideas, and surrounding yourself with diverse minds. It's about asking better questions, seeking better answers, and never settling for average thinking. Ultimately, Maxwell's message is clear: change your thinking, and you change your life.